What's good, squad? It's the big homie SB23 back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today we're gonna talk about accountability is the key to set you free. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe so more people can get some words of wisdom, some gems that they can learn and apply to their life. So, oftentimes in life, we get into situations and it's easy to point the finger at somebody else and make them the root of your problems, to pass judgment on them and their actions and what you might deem as them doing wrong or doing wrong by you. But, in these scenarios, you have to take accountability. So the reason why accountability is the key to set you free is because when you take accountability for your actions, then you stop giving your power to somebody else. So you can point the finger at somebody else and say, you need to do this and you need to do that in order for me to feel better about the situation that's going on in my life. But by doing that, you give them the power. That means that they dictate how you feel and how you operate. Whatever they're doing is the key to dictating how you feel and how you operate, and that's not where you want to be. You want to be in a place of empowerment. So if you put the accountability on yourself and look at yourself and how you're moving and the things that you're doing to attract said individuals or said energy towards you, then you can reclaim your power, because now you can say, okay, I can see to where I could be doing a certain thing different or reacting to a certain thing better in order to get the outcome that I want to get, instead of putting it on somebody else to give you an outcome that you want to that you desire. So, like for me, like I always bring it back to me again, because the reason why I always bring it back to me is because my life experiences and the lessons I've learned are from the mistakes that I've made, because I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect person, and I'm not a person who walks around acting like I'm perfect. I like to learn from my mistakes, and then if I learn something, I like to therefore give out that information to whoever is listening and can resonate with what I'm saying and take some gems from it and apply it to their life in order to help them. So again, I'm no perfect being, and these are all the things that I've learned, and I'm just sharing the information that I learned and hoping it can help whoever's listening. So please, again, like I always say, don't ever take it as I'm preaching or that I'm trying to act like I'm better than anybody else, because I'm not. I'm a human being. I bleed, sweat, cry, whatever it is. I do everything that everybody else does. I'm just here to say, to be my authentic self and to hold myself accountable and say, yeah, these are the things that you learned. So by doing so, pass that those words to somebody else who might not have somebody in their life, like an uncle or a brother or a son or whatever, that can give them some words of wisdom and some life inspiration or maybe motivation to do whatever you got to do. So again, there's plenty of situations that I've been in, job situations, relationship situations, even personal, just within me, not having to do with anybody else. Take for instance, I just came out the gym again. This is my third gym day this week. Now my base minimum is I like to go at least once a week. Excuse me, y'all. I like to go at least once a week. That's what I told myself that I was gonna hold that standard to, at least going to the gym once a week. But if I'm being accountable and I know that I can make more than one trip a week, why not? Because all it's gonna do is benefit me in the long run. So, when I was in high school, I was super fit. I was always very athletic. The school that I went to was on the college campus, so we used to be able to play and use the college facilities. So we had the college Olympic pool, and we had the college basketball courts. And when I was in high school, I was already, freshman, sophomore, I was already able to jump up and grab the rim, dunk on the rim, and all that stuff in high school. So I've always been athletic. So but as I got older, I realized I wanted to keep that athleticism. So in order to do that, especially since, you know, as you get older, things don't come as easy as they do when you're younger. You got to hold yourself accountable and say, okay, I got to make sure that I'm going into I go to the gym, or that, you know, when the summer hits, that I'm out on the courts, keeping up that stamina and keeping up that youthfulness. So that's one way that I hold myself accountable, is that I make it a point to get to the gym and not make excuses as much as I can. So again, at least once a week, I make sure that I'm there. And I mean, I try to. Now, there's life situations to where you might not be able to make it that week, but even if I can't make it to the gym, then I do some workouts at home. So be it calisthenics, you know, push-ups and pull-ups. You can do that at home, and there's no reason why you can't do that, to stay up on your workout regimen. And because I stay up on that regimen, I see the results. You know, I'm very fit, I'm very athletic. When I get on the court, I'm playing with kids that are like sometimes 20 years younger than me, and I'm more than keeping up with them. You know, I'm on the court, I'm dominating, because I'm making sure that I keep up with my health and my stamina. So that's one way of accountability. Another way is energetically, knowing that you can't partake in things that are going to hurt you and hurt your energy on the inside. So if it's like low vibrational stuff, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing things here and there that are kind of on the lower end, but you want to balance it out. Again, like I was saying in one of my recent videos, you want to balance those things out. When I was talking about vices, you want to balance those things out. You don't want to overindulge in the vice and then end up operating on a low frequency, and therefore attracting low vibrational waves towards you, and then now you're living in that low state. You want to be in a balanced state, you know, so that you can live your life in a harmonious way. Another thing about accountability is realizing that when you are in a relationship, and let's say something goes awry, even if you feel as though predominantly that you weren't really the issue of it, that doesn't mean that there wasn't something within that relationship that you could have done better. So even for me, especially, that's what I like to do. Like anytime there's a situation that I have with somebody, even if I feel like I'm in the right, I try to think about ways of how I could have handled that situation better, because there's always some space to improve in something. And oftentimes, if you are in a relationship and somebody's doing something to you repeatedly, it's because you're allowing it to happen. Because nobody can do anything to you that you don't allow them to do. They're only doing it because you allow them to do it. So you have to hold yourself accountable and figure out what it is within yourself that you're allowing this person to do said things to you, instead of creating a healthy boundary to where they won't do this. So again, you have to hold yourself accountable. So oftentimes, for me, again, when I'm getting to those type of situations, especially when it's like with a lover, and let's say, you know, there's some situation, and if y'all split, y'all break up. I've had this happen a multitude of times, to where later on, if you still hold a good relationship or a good rapport between them, or if you have to have contact for whatever reason, I'll reflect on the situation, and then I'll hit them up, and I will apologize to them for me not handling the situation in a better manner, even if I feel as though I didn't really necessarily do something wrong, but it was just the fact of me understanding that I could have handled the situation differently. So, you know, what it does is it just gives you your power, because now you're saying, you know what, I know that there were some instances that happened and I kind of allowed those things to happen, but you know what, I could have handled it differently. And also recognizing that within that, there were some things that you probably did too that you that weren't all the way right, that you could have done differently, even if you were coming from a place of pure intent. Because just because you have pure intent doesn't mean that you can't hurt somebody. You know what I mean? It could be the way you said something that hurt somebody, and you didn't even mean or even realize the way that you were saying it, the way it was coming out, could be offensive to somebody else, and that wasn't your intent, but that's what happened. So you have to realize that, again, you're not perfect, and that in situations, especially in relationships and like lovers, it takes two to tango. So if you did end up hurting somebody, and maybe you didn't mean it to be that way, it takes nothing to hit them up and say, you know what, hey, I was thinking about this situation, this scenario, and I apologize for any part that I played to make it go left. Because at the end of the day, again, nobody's perfect. So at some point along the line, you didn't handle a situation the way that you would have liked to when you reflect on it. And then by having that understanding and then taking accountability for your actions that you played in the situation, then you take back your power, because now you're not walking around harboring any ill will towards that person or yourself. You acknowledge that, okay, I could have done this and this better, and you put it out there. You say, hey, you know, no hard feelings or anything like that. I'm sorry for how the situation went. I'm sorry for the part that I played in it, and from that scenario I've learned something about myself and I've grown, you know, so now I won't make those same mistakes. So again, by holding yourself accountable, then you can say, okay, I got to take these lessons that I learned from these situations and apply them to my life, so that I therefore don't make any more of those mistakes. And we all make mistakes, but and that's okay. But the thing that's not okay is if you don't take accountability for your actions and then you keep doing the same thing over and over. If you keep repeating a bad pattern, then you're purposely not wanting to hold yourself accountable for your actions. And then that's just saying to the universe that you don't care about how your actions are affecting people around you. You only care about yourself. And then that's when you end up having a hard life, because then that's the energy you're putting out. So when you put out selfish energy like that, then the universe is going to act, it's going to treat you that way. So it's going to treat you how you're treating the people around you. So you want to be very mindful of that, and you want to take accountability for your actions so that you can learn. And then once you learn, you heal. And then when you heal, you can move forward instead of being stagnant. That's why accountability is key, because if you never take accountability for your actions, you therefore put yourself in an illusion, and then now you're stuck in a loop, and it's like the Twilight Zone. You're just in there, and it's a repeated pattern, and then but every time you repeat the pattern, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and then eventually it just unravels until when you do finally maybe snap out of it, you're in such a bad state that it's hard to come up out of, and it might be too late. So yeah, that's why for me, I always take accountability for my actions. And that's because my mother instilled that into me when I was very young. She always said to me, if you do something, own up to it. Don't lie. Don't put it on somebody else. Excuse me, y'all. Don't put it on somebody else. Own it. And then move, and then apologize if you need to apologize, if that person is looking for an apology. But sometimes you don't even need to apologize. It's just really, you just need to change your actions, and then your actions will show that you're sorry, or that you know that you meant that you mean better by not only that person but for yourself. So, and that's the king. I mean, that's the key. You want to do right by yourself first, more than anybody else, because if you do right by yourself, then then everybody else around you is gonna feel the effects of you doing right by you. So if you do right by yourself, then everybody else is gonna feel that energy, and they're gonna be reciprocating what you put out. So again, it's not even really about anybody else. It always comes back to you, because you create your own universe. You create your existence around you. So whatever energy you're carrying, like I always say, is what's going to come out. So you got to be mindful of that. And yeah, just take accountability. And really, it's not even that big of a deal half the time. You know, nobody even really is going to hold it over your head, especially if you could be honest and say, yo, I did do that, and you know what, my bad, I'm sorry, and you know, I'm really gonna take the time to reflect and move differently. That's another reason why I don't hold grudges. You know, a lot of people who may deal with me, we might get into a certain scenario, and they might be thinking that I'm still upset or mad or angry about whatever situation that was, but I had been moved on because I already let it go, because it wasn't even that a big deal to me to begin with. I just want to see you do better, and for us to be in a good copacetic situation. So that's words of wisdom from the big homie Al Holla.